Welcome everybody, and call to order the Growth Committee open session for Monday, April 22nd. And we'll go right down to approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda? Barry, on the question, all in favor? Okay, thank you. Disclosure of conflict of interest. Anybody have any? No? Okay. Go right down to business matters at 7.1, and we'll go right over to Andrew Reid.
Thank you, committee members. Just give it a minute here while the slides load. I think that's the wrong presentation. Don't know if the clicker's working. Maybe I can just put it next slide. Yeah. Okay. So pleased to be here today to present the a new incentive program the city is proposing to release. This is an affordable housing soft cost grant program. Next slide, please. So this grant program is funded through the city's Housing Accelerator Fund. And the grant is intended to provide pre-construction costs, 15% of those costs up to a maximum of $25,000 per project to support nonprofit housing developers during the critical early phase of developing affordable housing. So eligible costs will include costs typically not covered by our other affordable housing grant, which covers the hard costs. This program is about all those soft costs, design, engineering, architecture work that goes into the preparation of drawings, which then support those developers' applications to the higher levels of government. Next slide, please. The eligibility criteria for this, there are certain thresholds that any applicant must meet. A minimum of 5 net new affordable housing units proposed. At least 50% of the project should be affordable housing units, so it does support mixed income housing. The applicant must be a registered nonprofit organization, and the project must be new construction, conversion of an existing commercial institutional use, or rehabilitation of a residential building that will result in net new housing units. Next slide. In terms of once applications are received, a grant committee would evaluate all applications according to a points-based system. And that's intended to ensure that the strongest applicants are successfully funded. So in terms of budget, the grant should be able to support about four projects per year. And they would be scored based on the track record of the organization, the project's alignment with the city's the housing gaps identified in the city's housing needs assessment and affordable housing action plan, the completeness and quality of the application, the readiness of the project, the timelines of their funding and anticipated start dates, alignment of the project with city plans, bylaws, and strategies, whether or not the project has received planning approvals already, and as well the applicant's ability to demonstrate a number of things, including that they've entered into an application process with the Canada Mortgage Housing Corporation or NB Housing, or demonstrated that they've been able to leverage other pre-construction funding through other sources available, such as the Regional Development Corporation. The grant committee would also be given consideration to ensure that there's equitable distribution of grants on an annual basis. Next slide, please. So once you have some time to discuss this after the presentation, I did want to flag We are seeking growth committee's feedback on evaluation, whether the committee is comfortable with the grant committee being a staff committee, which then is grading and awarding the applications, or if it's in the committee's preference that the grant committee provide recommendations back to Common Council for approval. So the advantages to a staff committee would be simply that the applications can be expedited in a quicker, timelier manner. There's no lag in between the successful application and funding disbursement. Next slide, please. To ensure that the funding is being used for the appropriate purpose and that that's set out in the application, the policy does require applicants to sign a terms and agreement funding form with the city. So if the funds aren't used in accordance with their application, that can be addressed. Next slide, please. So the recommendation is that the committee recommend council adopt the Affordable Housing Soft Costs Program as presented today, and as well staff be directed to prepare the terms and conditions of funding template form for the program for approval at council. So that funding form is just being, I guess, finalized through our GCO, but we have a draft of that, and that would ensure that due diligence piece. I have a few more slides here just related to our other affordable housing grant program I did want to give the committee a heads up on, but perhaps we could do that first, and then if there are questions, take all of that in one go.
Sure.
So just did want to give an update on the 2023 Affordable Housing Grant Program. So that is a grant program, you may recall, it gives a direct per unit grant to support the hard costs of developing affordable housing in the city. You may recall in 2023, there were 4 projects awarded that funding. 2 of them now are in the construction, and 2 of them are about to start construction. So we are planning to take, next slide please. We are planning to take a number of improvements to that grant program forward, and I did want to give the committee a heads up on those. We would like to take them to council just to help speed up that amendment process. But the 2 things that are being recommended would be changing the disbursement terms of that grant program. So currently the way the incentive grant works is that we will only pay out the funds upon the project being completed and being issued an occupancy permit. That's very late in the process. So to align with some best practice and getting the funds out the door sooner, we'll be looking at a disbursement milestone, and that disbursement milestone is likely to be completion of foundation of the project. As well, we're considering a few other improvements just to how those grants are evaluated to ensure that they're equitably distributed. So if it's a small project but has a lot of merit, it can still weigh highly versus a project that has a number of units but would tip the scales otherwise. So those are a few updates I did want to give the heads up on. We're working to bring those amendments to that grant program to council. As well, we're working on other grant programs as part of the Housing Accelerator Fund to help deliver overall increase of housing supply. So thanks for the opportunity for the presentation, and if you have any questions, happy to entertain them.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. Is there any questions? Your worship?
I don't have a question, Andy, but when you ask about the evaluation and we would go with option A or B, what I would say right now is I like A, because I think if we are as a group, and council will have to decide that, if we're happy with the evaluation and the weight of each thing, then it's just basically math. You know, it'll get graded and then added up, and it should be the same. It doesn't matter who's there. And like you say, it becomes expedited, then it doesn't have to wait to come to council, etc. So I'd like to see that happen myself. But yeah, no, I think it's great, and it's nice to see that we've disbursement. You've got it, you you start and then, you change the way you do things as the program grows, you get more information about it. So that's good to see as well. So no, I'm happy with that.
Sure.
Yeah, I like it too. But would you go back to those 4 that got the 200,000
Yeah.
on the screen?
Load them up here and just do.
I can't find them. Or I'm looking for them, or I wouldn't ask you to put them on the screen. What? Where's it?
We're gonna load them up on the
Yeah, okay, I
PowerPoint
just
presentation
kinda
here. Yeah,
Just what you said about them, I want to ask.
sure.
Here we are here. Steeple View, where's that at?
Steeple View is under construction. The foundation's being poured
Where at?
currently. Pardon me?
Just where at, that's all.
In terms of location?
Yeah, your location.
Cliff Street?
Okay, good. I'll jump the next one for a sec. Portland Commons, where's that at?
Portland Commons is a project located off Millage Avenue. It's part of the Portland United Church
Church
lands.
hasn't started yet, that big
Has-
field there where the deer are.
That's correct. They have their
Okay.
planning approvals in place.
The West Side Project,
We can't actually reveal the location of that project this time.
you
No.
can't tell us? Okay, I'll go back to the other one, Barry Green Resin, you said they're all ready to start very soon. That is not ready to start very soon?
So Barrett Green is, you'll recall the foundation's been dug and that project is,
I thought it was on hold.
there's been work continuing on it, such as the design, which has now been approved, the building permit issued. But there have been challenges with that project. You'll be aware of that. We continue to work through.
No, the only thing when you mentioned them, you said that was on the go too, and I just thought it was on hold until council here makes the decision. No?
No. Okay. Any other, did you want to respond to that?
Yeah, I guess, whether council makes a decision or not on this, I don't think it's necessarily required for the project to advance. I think it's simply a matter of the developer securing a general contractor with the bonding in order for this to proceed is where it's at, within the constraints of the budget of the project. So I think that's where it's at.
Thank you.
Recommendation.
Okay,
Second.
second it. On the question? All in favor? Okay, motion carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to, item 8.1. Appeal.
Same thing.
Thank you, Chairperson and members of the Growth Committee. I'll now provide an update of the situation regarding the undeveloped site at 99 King Street. The site has been vacant since the demolition of the building nearly 3 years ago. Construction of the proposed buildings was delayed primarily due to the challenging economic conditions. The community has rightfully expressed concerns about the safety and the unsightly nature of the fencing, jersey barriers, and graffiti at the site. Staff has had discussions with the developer, Percy Wilbur, who has committed to repairing the existing fencing and adding appropriate screening within the coming weeks. These actions are intended to address immediate safety and aesthetic concerns by restricting unauthorized access to the site, as well as visibility into the site. With respect to the closure of the right turn only lane on Charlotte Street, it should be noted that independent of the development at 99 King Street, this will not be reinstated. The upcoming complete street reconstruction on Charlotte Street includes reducing vehicular traffic lanes from 3 to 2 and incorporating a dedicated bike lane. The redesign is aimed at supporting broader transportation goals, such as enhancing pedestrian and cycling infrastructure within the city. We continue to support the development at 99 King Street and fully acknowledge the community's concerns regarding the current state of the site, Significant improvements to the site's condition are anticipated in the coming weeks. The process has been slower than anticipated, and there are a variety of factors involved, including the challenging economic environment. We appreciate the community's patience and understanding, and we are dedicated to ensuring that the development proceeds in a manner that benefits both the city and its residents. We will be reaching out to Mr. Pottle to provide him with an update and address any concerns he may have directly. Thank you, and I'm open to any questions you might have at this time.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions? Councillor Law?
I'm sorry.
I thought maybe. Okay. It's unfortunate, you know, and I appreciate the fact that, you know, they're going to fix the fence and put up the screening and signage. It needs to be clear, though, that, you know, it can't be accessible in there and it can't be visible at all. So if that means that the screening has to go a little bit higher, you know, that's what it has to be. And, you know, I understand that, you know, in Atlantic Canada, you know, the provinces are dropping the PST. That's not the case here, but I know that if they decide to do that, projects like this might get off the ground a little bit quicker. So let's hope that maybe that happens here in New Brunswick as well. So that being said, I'll take a motion to receive for information. We'll move in second on the question. Thank you all very much. And I guess we're at your item. Okay, all in favor? Thank you very much, everybody.